Boy, did this dude have a lot to learn. So do I. Because, see here on my feed, I drew a game with Black, which the guy traded all the pieces and, it was bad. So, there's three major mistakes this guy made in this video, in this game, and I'm going to take you through them. Refreshing. Um, for one, I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna just get into it because he tries to strike in the center with the pawn, which is normal. But if you're gonna strike in the center after white strikes into the center, do it right after. And unless you're playing a full-on gambit, which I mean, I'm gonna be honest, you probably are better off doing something like this. Or even no, more like but see against more like against e4, right? And then even like here, right? You get this. Especially at the lower levels, because I mean, I'm gonna probably start trying to chase the queen around and eventually like pick up this pawn and whatever. Um, but it's more forcing, and it at least you get some development, right? You gambit, and it's not even a gambit because we're what 3 moves in already. It's hilarious that it was 3 things that this guy just clearly didn't understand about chess in this game, and this is just losing. They're down upon. You're also down a knight. Like you thrusted a pawn into the center that was not protected enough. You have to know what squares is guarded. Excuse me. Before you thrust in with pawns. So like a better move would have just been like d5, right? Taking space, right? Because it's never really he's not a knight. It's never really about the squares the pawn is on. It's about the squares that's guarded by the pawn. The only time it's about what square the pawn is on is when you're trying to figure out, okay, what squares are cut off, right? You do not strike the most cut off square because whatever you strike it with will just get captured. Literally 3 pieces was striking this square. So that's number one. Number two, he goes hunting for the pawn to recapture it. I repeat, he goes hunting for the pawn and recaptures it. This is problematic because, like I said, he goes hunting, so he uses the queen. If you know anything about a queen in chess, you know that's your hunting piece. That is your hunting piece. You may call it a bottom bitch, but you didn't hear that from me. You might have heard it from a pimp. So now you can't even take with the piece with your hunting piece because you wanted to hunt the pawn so bad, because that's clearly what he did. He wanted this. He did not have no other plan because you see, I ignored it. I ignored it, and the next thing he did was take the pawn. So clearly he wanted this pawn back, but he couldn't take, and now he tries to plop a knight in the center. It doesn't work because I'm just gonna attack it. And number 3, he didn't have a plan for his pieces. You see, my pieces are correlated to where, listen, when I put these pieces out, I wanted to take control of this square, but I also wanted to make sure that every piece was protected. Pawns protecting this one. Only thing that's not protected is this bishop, which, it's a dark square bishop. It's kind of hard to protect it when you get it out on the second move of the game, but I digress. So, oh no, this is too far. He just lazily gets pieces out, and he doesn't realize the queen just got hung to attack what square, and listen to look at what square he's attacking. Protected. Remember, the king's the fighting piece. Protected. There was no threat. You're going hunting with the wrong piece. But it's the hunting piece, but you're not hunting correctly because you didn't have a plan. Like I said, those are the three things. Where is it at? Strikes in the center with the wrong pawn. He goes hunting for the pawn. And he clearly didn't have a plan for his hunting piece, because he didn't even execute the plan properly. Because he still didn't realize, probably something like this to gear up to take the pawn, right? But then, I would just let the pawn die. I'll just let it die. Because at this point, for one, I don't need this pawn. I don't need that pawn. I already won a pawn with it. And I have this one that's ready to go down the board. And third thing too, the pawns was doubled. It was doubled. It was way out in front. Trying to overly defend it is pointless. The only reason I was chilling with it was because it was still at a point where it was chill, because he didn't really eat. So what I'm trying to say is, by the way, he gets checkmated. What I'm trying to say is that 16 moves too. Hilarious. You have to have a plan. Not even as black, because listen, you've seen me play this. This is the London right here. You've seen me play this game. You have. I played the London, and I played decently enough. I'm only a 400, so bear with my my lack of understanding. But you gotta play with your pawns properly. Don't go hunting when you lose a pawn. And I mean hunting, because this man went hunting. And it was not with the right piece. You'd be better off even doing this, which will hang your bishop. But hey, right? At least it's not at least you don't bring your queen out and then hang it in 2 moves or 3 moves. And which again is part of the third point. You have to have a plan with these pieces. You cannot be playing chess with no plan at all, right? Which is why, and again, he actually, these 2 knights, get these 2 knights out. From here, you can play chess. You can okay, I'm going to strike you back. Let's see, whatever, strike you back. Maybe even this to gear up to strike you back, because I'm not going to take with the bishop, obviously. So, here, maybe I just play here, and then you strike me back. Then we have something, a little more of a something. It's still not really sound, but it's better than nothing. And at least, you can say after this, well, I'm going to get the queens off the board anyway. And now you're not castling. You know what I mean? At least that was, and I've played like this. That's why I'm it's so confusing to me to see the lack of game plan. Get out of here.